Hey guys, how's it going? My name's Hunter Thomas. I'm a freelance graphic designer that specializes in logo and in print design. And in today's video, I just want to talk to you about a subject that I think a lot of times is overlooked, especially by new designers and designers who are just getting into graphic design, regardless of, or just art in general, regardless of what medium, what your focus is, all of that. I think this topic applies to everyone in art, outside of art. But mainly my focus was in graphic design with intentions behind this topic. But anyways, without further ado, let's get into the video. Alright, so as you probably already know by the title of this video, the topic is copyright versus imitation for learning. I don't know what exactly in the title of the video, but that's the topic I'm going to be talking about. So I never really thought about it too much until for design school I had to write a paper my junior year about copywriting and, you know, the reasons to avoid it and stuff like that. But at the same time, I think there's another side of the coin that a lot of people need to look at. So copywriting, we kind of all know is wrong. We all know it's something that shouldn't be done. That's kind of been ingrained in us, especially like you go to the movies and you see all these copyright laws up front. Like that's just a pretty obvious thing. But I think one thing that's lacking is a lot of people don't talk about the reason why. So I think one big thing to consider with the whole copyright issue is put yourself in the creator's shoes. So for instance, like let's say I have a logo that I'm trying to do. I'm not capable of creating what I want to create. So I go out and find someone who already created pretty much what I want to do. I take that, change around the font, maybe delete a thing or two with it to make it my own, and then I give that to the client and I profit off of it. So the issue with it is a lot of people will say by deleting a thing or two or changing, you know, the curve or something like that, now it's my creative work. But the issue comes in that the original artist, the original person that put that out, that put up the vector file for you to download, to put up all this stuff that you went through to get it and take credit for, the original person got no credit and no money off of it. So if everyone did that, then obviously no one would really make money in design, if you think about it that way. Like if I went through, I did my work, I did my, you know, stuff, and I put it up there and I put the license as free for personal use. Meaning, you know, if you want to use this for your friends and family, or if you want to use this for this or that, you know, personal stuff, stuff that isn't commercial, isn't for business, isn't for profit, isn't for anything like that, go for it. If you want to get the commercial license, you need to pay me. But you download it and use it for commercial purposes and make money, then do you understand the disconnect there where I did all the work, you get all the credit and the money, and I just sit here, you know, not knowing any better. So I think that's one issue that we need to like kind of think about a lot more, because it's very easy as designers to do. I mean, for instance, if I'm like going to create a tree, it's a lot easier for me to type onto Google vector tree, free download, find one, download it, put it in there. It took me 10 minutes, whereas actually going through, drawing the tree, creating the tree, vectorizing the tree might take me like 2 or 3 hours. So it's a lot more time efficient, and there's nothing wrong with doing that, but there's a right way to go about it, because I can go on, find that same tree, pay the original creator for the right, and then, you know, it's the argument of, well, was my 3 hours of time worth paying that creator $30 to be able to use his tree instead of creating it myself and all that stuff? That's a whole different argument, but that's the right way to go about it. That's what you should be doing if you're going to use someone else's creative work. But at the same time, I think that there is a place for copying in the art and design world. Now, what I mean by that is I'm a huge fan of learning by imitating. For instance, I'm starting this series. I actually already released the first video of it, where I imitate people's hand lettering, because hand lettering is something I want to learn and I'm not very good at. So I'm learning by imitating. But in the video, I give full credit to the original artist. I don't make any money off of selling the pieces or anything like that. I'm just doing it to kind of document me learning this new art form and sharing it with you guys, so that you can kind of see my thought process as I go through it. And I think that by imitating someone who's already good at what you're trying to get good at is a good way to learn without being taught, if that makes sense. I think when we're taught a lot of other people's processes and how they go about their thinking, stuff like that, and we lose that creativity that makes us us. You know what I mean? We lose that workflow that we come up with ourselves. We lose a lot of just the personal touches when we are taught something. But when you imitate something and you're teaching yourself, but you have something to look at as a guideline, then you'll come up with your own way to solve the problem of how do I get my S to look like that dude's S looked in his piece of work, or how do I get a vectorized tree, or whatever it is that you're trying to learn to do. If you just look at something and imitate it, I think that's a great way to learn. But once you imitate it, you can't sell it as your own work. Like, it would be wrong for me to directly copy, even though I did the work, right? I hand drew it, I hand did everything. You know, now you could say it's my body of work. It's right here. So I hand did this, right? So now you could say this is my body of work. But the whole creativity behind it, even though mine looks worse than his, or, you know, this is technically, yeah, I hand did all of this, no one else gets credit for this, but the layout, the idea, the letters, everything else did not come from my brain. So if I were to go and make money selling this, that would be wrong. That would be copywriting. But learning by imitating, just doing this for my own personal knowledge, is extremely helpful, and I think it's a great way for designers to learn and increase their skills. So basically, just to wrap this all up, I think copying in itself can be good, can be great actually. It can be a great way to learn, it can be a great way to grow as a designer, to push your boundaries. But copying where you make profit and where you're the one profiting off of someone else's work needs to be avoided. It's done too much. I think a big issue with this also is Pinterest, and where our clients have access to Pinterest, and you know, they'll be like, hey, I want this exact logo with my words. And it's the, you know, there's some designers who are like, okay, that's easy, like my job's done, I get to charge the same amount. Whereas what we need to be doing is, okay, you know, send me a few other logos so I can get the feel of what exactly you want without having to copy, so that I can make this your own mark. And I think in the end of the day, that's what clients want. They just see something and they're like, hey, I really like that. I want my name with, you know, this emblem or this or that. And as designers, we can't do that because it's not our creative work. A way to go about doing that is you could contact the original artist and be like, hey, I got a client who wants to use this. Can I get the rights? I'm willing to pay you X amount for the rights. Something like that, and then go about it. I mean, that's not hard to do, but you got to give credit where credit's due and pay who deserves to be paid. Sorry. I just think that's something that's avoided and not really talked about much in our community, and needs to be taught, especially to new designers. If I hadn't gone through design school, I probably would have never really thought about it. And you know, you can go to like VectEasy and all these other websites that designers upload stuff, and they put it where you can download it for free, and you get the personal license, right, where you can use it for not for profit. And that's awesome that designers do that, you know, but at the same time, they deserve to get paid if you're getting paid. If you're going to get paid, you got to take, you know, I'll even sometimes with clients, if they want something like that, where I'm like, look, I'm not able to do that personally, like, you know, I can't draw as detailed as you want, or I can't, whatever the issue may be, I'll be like, but I can buy the vector and do everything else for you. I'll just charge you like $20 more. Is that okay? A lot of times they say yes. You make the same profit. The designer who originally created it gets their fair share, and then you don't have to worry about anything. But I think that's something that needs to be talked about, needs to be ingrained in us as designers, because, I mean, in the end of the day, we're not really competing with each other. We're a community of designers, and we need to, you know, support each other whenever possible. And if me, through my project, can, you know, help pay $20 towards this dude making a living, why on earth would I not do that? Especially if you can add that as a charge and let your client know up front what you're doing. I mean, I just think that's a great way, and something that should be done every time that you use someone else's work. But yeah, I know this was a quick video. I know a lot of you, this is just going to seem like, duh, this is the easiest, stupidest topic ever. But like I said, I needed this video like 2 years ago. And so I know people out there are going to be going through the same thing, and just, it's not that, you know, we intentionally are stealing other people's work and taking credit for it. It's just the thought never really crossed our minds of being in their shoes and realizing, hey dude, this is probably a designer trying to put food on the table for his family or doing this or that, you know, trying to make a living, and by taking his work and making profit off of it, I'm kind of like stealing 20 bucks from him. You know what I mean? I don't think anyone's doing it intentionally. Some I'm sure are, but the majority of us aren't. It's something we hadn't thought about, and so I wanted to bring that to people's attention and hopefully raise some awareness for copywriting, because I think it is a pretty big issue in the design and art world. But that's all for this video. If you enjoyed this content, I release a new video every Monday. If you like this video specifically, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Check out, I've made a post about this on my Facebook page. If you don't like me on Facebook yet, the link's in the description below. You can also check out my Instagram page in the description below. And that's all for this week. I will see you guys next time.